The woman finally looked up, her eyes meeting the trainer's and then the young man's. For the first time, there was a flicker of hope in her expression. What would happen next hung in the air, teetering on the edge of an explosive moment. The room seemed frozen, every eye darting between the trainer, the young man, and the woman who had become the center of it all. Just when it felt like the situation might shift in her favor, the man smirked and took a step forward, his voice dripping with mockery. "Oh, so now I've got an audience," he said, spreading his arms wide. "Let's hear it. What's everyone so scared to say?" Before anyone could respond, the gym doors swung open, and an older man walked in. He was dressed in a manager's polo, his face immediately registering the tension in the room. The trainer turned to him, relief washing over her face, but before she could explain, the man cut in. "Oh, great. Let's get the manager involved," he sneered, his tone daring anyone to challenge him. The manager surveyed the scene, his eyes narrowing as he pieced things together. But just as he was about to speak, the woman, who had been silent until now, stood up. Her voice, calm yet firm, broke through the tension. "I'm not here to entertain you," she said, her words sharp and deliberate. "And I'm done being quiet." Her statement hung in the air, but before anyone could react, another unexpected voice chimed in from across the room. "Neither are we." It was a woman from the treadmill area, stepping forward with a look of quiet determination. One by one, others began to join her, their presence transforming the atmosphere. The man, now visibly unsettled, looked around as his grip on the situation began to slip. The room wasn't just standing still anymore, it was shifting, gaining momentum, and turning the spotlight away from the aggressor. Yet, even as the tide began to change, the question remained. Would this collective stand be enough to put an end to the man's behavior for good? The room was alive now, a wave of quiet strength spreading as more people stepped forward. The man's confidence began to crack, his smirk faltering as he realized he was no longer in control. The manager, sensing the shift, finally spoke. "This gym is a place for respect, not hate. You can either leave now, or we'll make sure you're removed." The man laughed nervously, trying to downplay the situation. "Oh, come on, it was just a joke," he muttered, glancing around for support. But the silence from the crowd was deafening. He looked at the woman, but her gaze was steady, unyielding. Then, in a move no one saw coming, the young man who had been watching earlier stepped forward, phone in hand. "It wasn't a joke," he said firmly, "and I've got it all recorded." The man's face turned pale as the realization hit him. The trainer added, "It's time for you to go. Now." With nowhere to turn, the man grabbed his things and stormed out, the door slamming behind him. The room erupted into quiet murmurs as the tension finally broke. But the biggest twist came when the woman turned to the young man, a small but genuine smile breaking through her serious demeanor. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady. He nodded, then added, "No one should have to face that alone." As the crowd dispersed, something remarkable had happened. Strangers became allies, and the gym didn't feel so divided anymore. It wasn't just about standing up to one person. It was a reminder of the strength in unity and how even small actions can create big changes. As the gym settled back into its rhythm, there was a new energy in the air, one of connection and understanding. The woman finished her workout, her shoulders a little lighter now. A few people approached her, offering kind words or just a supportive nod. It wasn't about pity, it was about solidarity, a quiet acknowledgement that no one should have to face disrespect alone. The manager thanked everyone who stood up, promising stricter policies to ensure the gym remained a safe space for everyone. The trainer gave the woman a smile before returning to her station, and the young man packed up his things, glancing back one last time to make sure she was okay. As she walked out the door, the woman felt stronger, not just from her workout, but from the reminder that kindness and courage can overpower hate. Sometimes, the smallest acts of support make the biggest difference. It was just another day at the gym when things took an unexpected turn. Everyone was focused on their workouts when a man's loud, mocking voice broke the silence. His target? A black woman, quietly minding her business and pushing through her routine. At first, people around didn't know how to react, but as the man's words grew more pointed and offensive, the atmosphere shifted. The woman tried to stay composed, but you could see the pain in her eyes. What happens next is something you won't believe. In a moment that stunned everyone in the room, the story takes an unexpected twist, leaving the man, and everyone watching, completely speechless. It's a powerful reminder of resilience, humanity, and the unexpected ways people can stand up for one another. Stay tuned to see how this incredible story unfolds and why it's something you'll be thinking about long after the video ends. The gym had always been her safe space, a place where she could focus on herself and tune out the world. She had worked hard to build her strength, not just physically but emotionally too. The man, on the other hand, seemed determined to disrupt that peace. His snide remarks grew louder, drawing uncomfortable glances from others in the room. But no one stepped in, not yet. As the tension rose, you could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone. The woman paused mid-rep, her hands trembling as she set down the dumbbells. Her eyes scanned the room, as if silently pleading for someone to step up. Meanwhile, the man smirked, confident in his dominance, feeding off the silence around him. What no one realized was that someone had been watching closely from the corner, a person who was about to change everything in a way no one expected. The man's mocking tone didn't let up, his words cutting through the gym like a knife. Some people looked down, pretending not to notice, while others shifted uneasily, unsure of what to do. It wasn't just about the insults anymore. It was about the way everyone was frozen, caught between fear and discomfort. The woman, still standing at her station, took a deep breath, her face a mix of frustration and hurt. She wasn't a stranger to moments like this, but this one felt heavier, more public, more isolating. In the corner, a young man adjusting the weights on his barbell paused and watched the scene closely. He hadn't said a word yet, but something in his expression had changed. Across the room, a trainer who'd been tying her shoe hesitated, glancing up at the unfolding situation. Each of them seemed to be weighing the same question: should they step in? The air grew thicker with tension as the man's voice echoed again, louder this time. But what no one saw coming was how these silent observers would soon become the key to turning this story around, and how one small action could spark something so much bigger. The gym felt like it was holding its breath, the hum of machines and clinking of weights fading into the background. The man's taunts continued, sharp and biting, as he strutted toward the woman, his tone growing bolder. She stood still, gripping the edge of the bench, her knuckles white, her eyes fixed on the floor. It was clear she was trying to hold her composure, but the strain was visible. Then, a sudden sound broke through, a barbell being racked with force. The young man from the corner stood up, his jaw tight, his gaze locked on the scene unfolding before him. At almost the same moment, the trainer who had been watching stepped forward, her voice calm but firm as she called out, "Hey, what's going on here?" The man faltered for a split second but quickly recovered, brushing off the interruption with a dismissive wave. "Mind your business," he snapped, his arrogance still intact. But the trainer didn't back down. "This asterisk is asterisk my business," she said, her voice steady but carrying weight. Around the room, others started to shift, standing a little taller, their silent stares now laser-focused on the confrontation.